Hey everybody, Drake here.
And Bone.
It's 2 hoodies and 3 cats. So, Bone and I have been talking about getting together and doing a podcast here, and we've decided that we're gonna do a podcast, and we're probably gonna do a couple of them, but one here for sure. And we're gonna start out. We've been talking about different guitarists that we like, and the vast majority of guitarists. So we want to get feedback from all of our subscribers, all of you hoodies, and everybody else out there that watch us on what kind of stuff you'd like to hear us talk about on a podcast, or what kind of topics, or different artists or bands, or maybe different. We cover a lot of stuff like mental health and addiction and stuff like that on this channel that music helps people deal with. So if you want us to cover any of that kind of stuff, that'd be great. But we were considering doing a whole deal on our top 10, 20, or 30 favorite guitarists and the ones that have influenced us. And the other day I decided to do some looking around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so I encourage all of you to go check this out, including yourself. So Rolling Stone recently put out a top 250 guitarists of all time, a list. That once I got to the end of the list, I was like, okay. So and then I looked at comments on this list, and most people are like, "Are you kidding me?" The list is interesting. There's a ton of people I've never heard of on this list. Where they have decided to put certain people is interesting. And the omission of like a laundry list of other players is
And then there was 250?
250. And just there's a large amount of people that were left off the list. And I made some notes. But while looking at this, it made me decide that there were two guitarists that I think we should take a time and go look at some point.
Okay.
And I'm sure you have more than two that we should look at. But one of them was a Peggy Jones. Do you know who Peggy Jones is?
I do not.
So she's her common nickname was Queen Mother of Guitar.
Oh, wait.
And
Is she the one that plays the SG with the 3 pickups?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it from the 50s and 60s?
It's old school. She's known as also the main way to find her is you look up Lady Bo.
I think I know who that is. She's just like an older black woman that just rips from like the early 60s. Like it's all black and white footage.
Yes.
She plays a white SG.
I don't know, but she played with Bo Diddley.
Yeah, I've been
apparently this woman is supposed to be like just unbelievable. So I would like to do some research and check her out and do a reaction video to some of her stuff.
All right, let's do that.
The other one was somebody I'd forgotten about forever and just somebody that I hear about, but I've never really looked at, and that is T-Bone Walker.
T-Bone Walker. He's actually from Linden, Texas.
So you know about T-Bone
Yes.
Walker. Yeah. He was somebody that caught my eye on the list. I'd heard mention of him before, but I've never actually listened to him or know much about him outside of just that the people he played with were pretty influential. So, so far, what do you think?
I think it's great. I'd love to see the list, because I think really it's difficult because lists are subjective. I mean, what metric are you using? It's personal opinion. Some people really like Stevie Ray Vaughan. They say that he's phenomenal. Some people it's difficult to say. So I think it should be a personalized thing, and you should be fair, obviously.
So I've made a quick list of notes on their list on where they had certain people, and I think I want to start at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, go ahead, shoot them to me. We'll see
because
if we'll react.
Because of how insane the bottom of the top, like the number one. I want to start at number one and go the other way.
Okay.
Because of how ridiculously out of order some of these people, and both we had, full disclosure, we've talked about where we think certain people would land in our top 10, our top 20, and so on, and we agree on a number of players, and we don't agree on a few other players, but
number one, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, number one is Jimi Hendrix. Okay. But beyond that, this list divulges away from where.
Did they give any indicators as far as like influence or ability or creativity in the studio?
They give a little block on there. Like you need to go look up top guitarists, and it'll basically give you.
You're not one of the top guitarists.
There's one, and it says Rolling Stones 250 top guitarists. You just go on it. It starts at 250 and you work your way backwards.
Okay.
And it gives a big blurb about that guitarist and who they were, what they did, who they played with, and the influence they had.
Blurb, is that like a mixture between a blurb and a burp?
That's it, a blurb. Yep. So number one, as you already guessed, was Jimi Hendrix.
James Marshall Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Number two, we talked about number two.
EVH?
No. Number two is not EVH. Go ahead, give me the guys you think they would have at number two.
Well, based on what you just said, context clues, I'm going to say that Stevie Ray Vaughan is
Nope.
number two. Is it one of the virtuosos from the 80s?
Nope.
I can't imagine who. Roy Clark?
Nope.
Chet Atkins?
Nope. I don't think Roy Clark was in the top 250.
What?
He was not on their list.
Is it rock and roll guitars?
Oh, yes.
So then Ice Cube's not on the list.
Oh no, it's all kinds of. But no, Ice Cube's not on the list.
I can't. Okay, I'm stumped.
Chuck Berry's number two.
I would if they're going to say influential.
I don't
would say
know.
That he was highly influential.
I don't know how or what they used to base
the
it.
criteria.
The criteria. I think as it got closer to the number one, it was based on a body of work, influence, and just overall impact on the genre.
A lot of people were influenced by Chuck Berry.
So, number three, I have no issue with number three.
EVH?
No.
Okay, who's number three?
Jimmy Page. Number four is
EVH.
Eddie Van Halen. Number five, I don't have a problem with him. I like him. And it's right where he's in an area where I would agree with putting him. And that's Jeff Beck. So
I know a lot of people like Jeff Beck. There was nothing that he ever did that I ever heard from him that drew me towards him.
So, but I just want you to think of the top
him.
five are Jimi Hendrix, Chuck Berry, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, and Jeff Beck. That's their top five of all time.
I don't know about that.
Now, I didn't put 6 and 7 on here because it was whoever they were. 8 was B.B. King.
What?
9, you ready for this? Joni Mitchell.
Guitar players?
Yes, Joni Mitchell.
This isn't songwriters. This is guitar players.
Guitar players.
Okay, unless I've missed the guitar lesson videos that she's been doing, I don't think that she should even be in the same neighborhood.
So now I said I've watched the comment section that was attached to this list was interesting. Number 13. This is one of your personal.
Tony Iommi.
Tony Iommi.
Tony Iommi should be like 4.
So just think about all the people we haven't even mentioned that aren't even on the list yet. Number 14 is Prince.
Okay.
15
should probably be a little higher.
Is Keith Richards.
Keith Richards
at 15. 16.
The guy only had 5 strings on his guitar.
Oh, this gets entertaining. That's why we're doing this, guys, so that when we give you our list of our personal preference, you'll understand that this is all based on whoever made this list. I don't know who made this list, but 16 was Robert Johnson. I don't have a problem with that.
I think Robert Johnson should probably be number 2.
18 was Tom Morello. Now, I want you to think of all the people we haven't even talked about yet.
Wow.
Number 20, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan at 20. 21, Randy Rhoads. At 21 for the...
Wow, dude.
All right. I guess...
Does this take into account the ability to play the guitar? Is that like one of the things that they're not using?
I don't know, but you're going to understand when I'm done with this list why I was a little like, what? So at 23, there's 2 guitarists. So what they did in this list was if they had two or more guitarists in a band, they would clump them together and put them at one number.
Oh, really?
Yes. So 23 is James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett together.
Okay.
Then we have your boy John Frusciante.
Frusciante.
Frusciante at 25. I don't really dislike that.
Look, I'm not
And
going
I
to say
would
where it goes
actually-
because I'm giving my list away.
I would put him above Kirk Hammett and James Hetfield personally.
Most def.
All right, do you know who St. Vincent is?
I believe it's a newer artist. It's a woman,
It's a female artist. In fact,
but I can't say
have
I've
a
heard her stuff. But
song-
I've heard a lot of. Great
I have a
things about
song that she does that we're gonna do tonight because I like her, but I haven't seen enough of her stuff to really consider her like the 26th best guitarist of all time.
her. Wow.
Then they have Neil Young at 30.
I'm sorry, Neil Young fans.
I love.
So they're taking into account ability to play guitar.
It's what I was told. It's Rolling Stone now. They're supposed to be music.
Wow.
33. So that was 30. Now we jump to 33 is Brian May of Queen. I don't have a problem with that.
The guy built his own guitar. That's got to count for something.
Okay, this next one, this is a crime. If you watch this and you get through this to this point, this right here is a crime. Eric Clapton at 35.
Look, Eric. Look, so I don't know if y'all know about.
But they
Robert
have
Johnson. Hold on, one second.
They got Beck at like 5, and Clapton.
Well, I'm about to. So Robert Johnson. If y'all know who Robert Johnson is, I urge you to look him up. We're going to do some of his videos. His music was recorded in the 30s. They call him the king of the Delta blues. His guitar playing is so complex. I've only seen 2 people play it right, and I've searched all over to see. And one of them, y'all don't know, it's a friend of mine, and the other one is Eric Clapton.
Clapton is, yeah. Anyway,
And so that involves like doing all stuff like here, doing this like 4 fingers. It's like
crazy stuff where the
complex
fingers
stuff.
are look like the cover of a Spider-Man comic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, I left people out that I didn't know because that was like, all right, whatever. So 41, Bo Diddley.
I don't know. I know who Bo Diddley is, but I don't know how great he is.
42 is Vernon Reid. I like Vernon Reid a lot.
Vernon Reid.
He was the lead guitarist from Living Colour. Great player.
Oh yeah, I would say that probably he's a great player.
Then number 44 is Johnny Ramone.
So, look, I hate to beat at that guitar, but
Then
They
you're not
use-
saying anything that's not just ripped down. People are like, well, are you kidding me? Because when we're done, you're going to realize I left off only the people
okay,
that
I'll try to contain myself.
Frank Zappa at 46.
What?
46.
I'm not even a fan of Frank Zappa.
He should be.
He deserves to be higher on that list.
Yes. John Lee Hooker at 52. Bonnie Raitt at 54. Johnny Marr of the Smiths at 56. I don't have a problem with that. Alex Lifeson at 58. Les Paul at 68. First, I was thinking they were doing this by age,
Oh, okay.
but not. Then Richie Blackmore at 75. And I was like, all right. Joan Jett at 76. Willie Nelson at 77. Then Adrian...
Hold on. Willie Nelson is below Joan Jett.
Yeah, Joan Jett's higher, like closer to number 1.
Have you ever seen Willie Nelson play guitar?
He's like ridiculous.
The guy burned a hole in a guitar like 12 times.
I get that. Yeah, I know.
With his fingers.
With this, but I want you to just consider the people I haven't mentioned yet, because. So then, after Willie Nelson, I jumped to 83, and that's Adrian Smith and Dave Murray of Iron Maiden. Then Muddy Waters at 84. Kurt Cobain at 88. Joe Satriani at 94. Mark Knopfler at 96. Kerry King of Slayer at 100. Now, I need to preface this one by...
Is Jeff Hanneman above Kerry King?
Jeff Hanneman's not on the list at all, and he is arguably considered the better guitarist.
Wow.
Billy Gibbons is at 102. Nancy Wilson at 103. Slash at 105.
Hold on. Nancy Wilson is above Slash on the list.
Yeah, they have her higher. Then Peter Buck. Do you know who Peter Buck is? At 106.
Peter Buck?
Peter Buck. He's a member of a three-piece from Georgia. He's the guitarist from R.E.M.
Oh, I'm thinking of the guy who had the 3 different color, get the red, white, blue guitar.
All right, and then Lindsey Buckingham at 110.
What?
Stephen Howe at 123.
Who's that?
He's the guitarist for Yes and
Oh,
Anderson.
see,
Beaver
those guys
Now.
are all virtuosos, aren't they?
Yes. Then
Yes.
Yes. Then at 124, you have Mike McCready and Stone Gossard as a duo.
Oh, they're lumped in. Wow.
At 124.
McGossard.
McGossard, yes, McGossard. Then Kim Thale at 126.
Oh, look. Let me guess. 127 is Jerry Cantrell.
No, there's only two
You
more
left him,
people on
okay.
this list. He's on the list, but I just wrote.
Gotcha.
He's
I just thought they
written
were
down
doing it
without
like
the
we're going to
actual.
throw Seattle all here in a row.
So Kim Thale is Soundgarden. At 127 is Steve Vai. Steve Vai made 127. Jerry Cantrell is near the 240, 230 range, and I didn't put anybody else on here because that was all I had time for. But there are a number of players they didn't even put on the list.
you said Bonnie Raitt was way
In the
Steve
50s.
Vai? Okay, I don't know what the criteria is.
So
'Cause I would think he would say influence, creativity, originality, and
well, you had Joe Satriani at 94, and you had Steve Vai at 127, and then you have
I just don't know that it's possible to do an unbiased, to be unbiased when you're doing the list.
I
would try.
I think the point of this video and what we're doing is to show you that we're going to do some interesting conversations about guitarists and other players in music, maybe bass players and drummers and whatever. We might even break guitar down from lead to rhythm, but our first one we're going to do is a top 10 our most liked guitarists, and be prepared, it's going to be all over the place.
Was Ace really on that list?
I don't remember.
Wow.
There were like George Lynch, not on the list. I don't think Michael Schenker's on that list.
Chet Atkins, Roy Orbison.
Chet Atkins
Not
was. Roy
Okay.
Orbison, no. George Harrison, yes. No. And John Lennon was on it. Paul McCartney
Jerry
was
Reed?
on. Jerry Reed's on the list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's on the list. And there's a bunch of people you've never heard of on the list. And then a ton of the 40s, 50s R&B, blues, and country guys that you're kind of like, okay, I kind of know who you are, but I don't really know who you are. But then there are a ton of people that you would expect to be on the list that are not on the list anywhere to be found. Like, they go into the effect of they put Kerry King, Kirk Hammett, and James Hetfield on the list, but they leave pretty much every other extremely heavy / thrash guitarist of influence is nowhere to be found on the list.
Huh.
Like,
Dave Mustaine?
Oh, he's nowhere near a list. He's hardly ever on the list. He's not on this list at all.
Wow. I would say he's arguably better than any of the people that you just mentioned, as far as ability.
Well, the crazy part about it is when you really get into studying about the beginning of thrash and Dave himself. Kerry King,
most of it back to him.
Kerry King was in Megadeth before going back to Slayer, and they kind of traded information on
Right.
stuff. And
So then you have of
to
the big
this
four.
day-
You have of the big four, 3 of them have origins with Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
That tells you something about Dave Mustaine.
yeah, and he's not on the list
And
at all.
I'm not a huge fan of
And
Megadeth at all, but you got to respect the man.
He's not on the list at all.
Wow,
Neither is Marty Freeman
man, that guy.
or Jason Becker.
So you think it's possible? We should. We're going to talk about this. We're going to figure out the best way to do this.
Yeah, so
Because I think we need to bury this list. I'm sorry. I'm not trying not to make it personal, but I mean, you got to have a criteria. You got to have ability, influence. Because to me, like for example, Frank Zappa would rank high on the list because of his ability and his creativity, but maybe not so much for his impact.
So I went on and did a little search on why Dave Mustaine wasn't on the list, because full disclosure, I really like Dave Mustaine. So a lot of the people are like, because of his attitude, because he was a dick from back in the day. And back early on, he had, after being first forming Megadeth, he had alcohol issues and all this stuff. And, but then they said that a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was a Christian, and I'm like, give me a break. And that he wouldn't play with certain bands, so there have been many times in festivals where Megadeth would be on a date and they would see these certain bands. I'm just gonna leave it as that. You can do some research if you don't know about it.
I think I know what you're
And it's like we'll do your show, but we're not going to play with these acts because of the message that they support, and we don't want to be there in support of that style. So
Wow.
he got really
He ranks higher now for that.
and a lot of people just decide he's a joke, and then he's unfiltered when it comes to giving his opinion about what he thinks about all kinds of stuff that he doesn't like.
Was Billy Corgan on the list?
No. The Smashing Pumpkins crew, they're not on the list. There's a lot of people on that I was like, where are these players at? They're nowhere to be found. So,
Disappointing.
but a lot of the people in the comments say if you're looking at heavy metal or thrash, Dave has to be in the top 5 of all time. And when it comes to the ability to write songs, sing, play guitar, be one of the best considered rhythm guitarists of all time, and still play the solos, highly technical, and produce it all, because he literally, whether you like it or not, he's pretty much written every single song or had some major influence on every song of that band from Megadeth
Right.
for forever. And you have guys in the industry that can play guitar really well, or they can sing really well, or they can mix this, or they can do this, but they can't do all of it.
Right. They can't. Some of these artists, they've never been in a band
Right.
per se, and they've never really written anything
And he's like
of substance.
the whole package. But anyway, so give us your thoughts below on this fun list I just gave you
Yeah,
about.
we really want your advice. You really want to know where to go with it.
Yeah, and give us your thoughts. If you take the time to go look at the Rolling Stones top 250 guitarists, if you Google top guitarists, it's going to be one of the first 3 or 4 lists that pop up.
Maybe put a link in the comments.
I might do that.
Or not in the comments, but in the description.
I might put a link in the description. But anyway, we have this has been a short one. This has only been about 20 minutes, so we're gonna start doing a podcast. So we're gonna cover all different topics. We're gonna talk about the new artists that we found on here, like Ren and Hangover Gang and the Liliac Band and some other bands. I'd like to even get into conversations about signed bands versus fully independent bands, the bonuses and old school bonuses, pluses and minuses, to current day pluses and minuses. I guess we'll wrap this up.
All right. Over
And
now.
we'll see you guys soon. And thank you for supporting our channel. We love all of you. We out.